Question, why did these kids forget about us in the first place?
Last week, I just started falling apart.
You're sucking the oxygen out of the room.
Honestly, Doc, if this is how it's going to be, I'm just going to wheel myself back and plug in.
We've started the matchmaking agency to help IFs find new kids.
Or we just disappear.
Blue. Happy place.
Coffee and croissants.
How's it going, guys? Welcome back to my channel and time for another episode of Luke's Reviews. On today's video, John Krasinski has put his horror hat to one side as he embarks on a brand new family adventure, reminiscing about all of those imaginary friends that we used to have, or as they're also dubbed, an if. A young girl named B returns to New York City living with her grandmother, but the visit to her old home brings back some painful memories of the past. However, after spotting some mysterious goings-on in her block of apartments, B soon runs into a group of colourful creatures, imaginary friends who no longer have a kid who remembers them, as well as the man who cares for them. Together, they'll restore the friends to their purpose and stop them from disappearing. John Krasinski thundered onto the directing scene with his two feature film debuts, A Quiet Place Part 1 and 2, and he really made his presence well and truly known, and that he seriously knows how to craft a film together. I really appreciate the fact that Krasinski isn't just settling with horror as the only genre that he'll ever make. I want to see his versatility as a filmmaker, and whilst it isn't as strong as his previous two films, If is still a very strong example of Krasinski as a storyteller. There's an overwhelming sense of whimsy plastered across If, a genuine sense of childlike wonder and imagination that ultimately gives the sensation of a warm hug. Krasinski has very clearly been inspired by the works of Spielberg, with vibes similar to E.T. and Hook very prominent in this film. Michael Giacchino's brilliant score adds to the magic as we tour across New York City, seeing it not as we're used to in a world where imaginary friends thrive and roam around the city. The design of the friends, they're all fun, they're quirky, they'll keep the kids very entertained. Steve Carell voices Blue, a purple imaginary friend who was creatively named because his previous kid was actually colorblind. But Blue is as adorable as he looks, and with Carell voicing the character, you could never go wrong. There is a whole host of A-list stars who show up as voice cameos. I won't bore you with the list, and I won't lie, it's actually quite fun to try and guess who's who from some of the voices. Some are a heck of a lot more noticeable than others. And trust me, you will not believe who is voicing an imaginary friend called Keith. I will say that the best of the bunch for me was Christopher Maloney as Cosmo, who's this brooding and very intense private investigator, comes out with some of the best lines in the film. Ryan Reynolds actually plays the straight man this time round. He's a grisly, pessimistic grump who's not overly enamored with B's introduction to the world, and I thought it was quite refreshing to see Ryan Reynolds stray away from the usual Ryan Reynolds mannerisms and antics and try something different. Cailey Fleming is a very charming young actress who does a good job in the lead. However, though, her performance worked better when it was focused on the real-world stakes as opposed to the world populated by the imaginary friends. And that goes for the film as a whole. The concept of the imaginary friends and their community that they're built and trying to save was interesting to start with, but as the film progressed and their overall plan began to take shape, it became extremely muddled and lost its way, began to lose my interest as well. There is also heavy themes to do with grief and loss that play an integral part to the film's story and to certain characters and their development. It takes up a significant portion of the screen time. I don't think kids are going to respond to it in any way, and as a result, I think their attention may suffer. But when the film needed to, it hit me squarely in the feels. I'm an easy crier, So to say that a movie had me tearful is not the accomplishment you might think, but If did hit that sweet spot on a number of occasions. One involves an office setting that was very emotionally resonant to me. Is If going to go down in history as a future family classic? I very much doubt it. The story isn't all that tight and loses its way during the second act, and the mature themes may strike with the adults, but kids could find it a little too heavy going. But it's energetic, sickeningly sweet, and wears its heart on its sleeve for the entire runtime. I thought it was a very charming little movie. So I'm going to give If a 7 out of 10. Anyway, guys, those were my thoughts on If. Let me know, have you had a chance to see the film yet? What did you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And my question to you, I would like to know, from what you can recall, did you ever have an imaginary friend growing up? But that is all the time we have for today, so thank you very much for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, make sure to click that like button, and if you aren't already, click that subscribe button too.